Hello, today we'll be reviewing Wonka. Okay, so let's start with the positives. And if we're going to be talking about the positives, we have to talk about the tone of the movie. And by tone, I'm talking about the color, the music, the style of acting that the movie has, which the combination of all of them creates a certain vibe. A vibe that is very similar to early 50s Technicolor movies or musicals, be they in stage or in a movie. And there is a callback in this movie that I love, because it is a reference to Singing in the Rain. Right when Wonka arrives to the city, he daydreams of his future shop, and because of his excitement, he does this movement, which as you can see is a reference to this. But not only is this a great homage, but it's also the setup of a callback that happens later, when Wonka and Noodle are singing. During the scene with the giraffe, Noodle and him start singing, and they start doing that movement, but while they are singing and also flying. So yeah, it's the first of many other great callbacks. As a Roald Dahl fan, I was really worried that they were going to sanitize the image of Willy Wonka. I mean, because if you know the story, a lot of the kids that went to Willy Wonka's factory didn't come out. Let's say it that way. So yeah, I was really worried that they were going to sanitize Willy Wonka's world and Willy Wonka himself. And although, to be honest, they did sanitize Willy Wonka, but that was kind of expected because it's a prequel. They didn't sanitize his world, at least not too much. I'm glad, and I actually found it funny how they used the chocolate as a metaphor for drugs, and how they showed that this chocolate mafia uses their chocolates to bribe officials and even church members. So although that was done in a funny way, between that and between the abuse that poor Noodle suffers, we don't have a too sanitized world. One of the other things that I love about this movie are the callbacks. Not only does it have great gags like the double ha that happens throughout the movie, but we also have the gag of the chocolate starting relationships. First with a shy man that ends up getting the courage he needs thanks to the chocolate, and after that with the person that works in the zoo and the chocolate mafia bodyguard. But the one thing that I loved, and the one thing that I think that everyone here can learn from this movie, is that all of the characters serve a purpose. When I first met the 4 people that work with Wonka, they were introduced as the people that he was going to work with. Then later, them and Noodle became the person that he was trying to save. But really throughout the story, when they helped Wonka in a way that only them could do. I mean, first, there was the woman that helped Wonka move throughout the city thanks to the sewers. Then there was the man who told him about the book because he had worked for the chocolate mafia. Then the receptionist was the only person who could help Noodle meet her mom. And then we have the comedian, who at first seemed to have the most useless skill, which was talking like he was underwater. But even that skill ended up being useful when he was talking to the zoo people. So yes, if you want to learn anything from this movie, learn to make characters that serve a purpose. And not only for great gags, but because you also end up not needing as many as you think. Don't have characters that know about everything, but have characters that know about very specific things that end up being useful in the story. So yes, that was what I learned from the movie. Another thing that I really liked was the acting. I really liked the camp and playful tone. And although I like Timothy as an actor, I'm going to be honest. At first I thought that he wasn't right for the job, but really throughout the movie he won me over. But without a doubt, the best part of the movie was the Oompa Loompa played by Hugh Grant. I mean, to me, personally, he was the funniest part of the movie. And even when I dipped out of the cinema, I was telling my friends that he was the best. So yeah, those were my positives. So yes, those were my positives. Now let's talk about the negatives. Okay, so this is kind of a negative, but isn't really. I found this movie to be, although very enjoyable, kind of predictable. Throughout the movie I was saying things like, this is going to happen now, this is going to happen now, and then it happened. But really I don't see it as a negative, because I had fun with that. So I don't really see this as a negative. But the movie is a little bit predictable. I didn't really mind, because I really find it enjoyable when I'm like, this is going to happen, and then it happens. But if you want to be surprised by the movie, know that this is somewhat predictable. I had some surprises, so I'm sure that you will have some surprises too. Ironically enough, the one thing that I thought was going to happen and then didn't happen was something that I really wish did. If you remember, they say that the chocolate mafia bodyguard hasn't seen sunlight in a very long time. So I was really convinced that that was set up for Wonka to give her a chocolate that produces light somehow or something like that. And when it didn't happen, I was kind of disappointed. But like I said before, I really liked the gag of her being the woman that the guy from the zoo was talking to. Another aspect in which I'm a little bit torn are the villains. Because the thing is that although I really like their performances, I kind of wish that they were more threatening. But I guess they worked fine for the movie. And although I really like the songs as a whole, and I actually like musicals, the song that begins being about the giraffe and ends up being the duet between Noodle and Wonka felt really long. It was so long that I kind of dozed off during the middle. So yes, although I liked the end, when they were doing the singing in the rain movement, I also found this song to be way too long, and the middle part to be a bit boring. And also, if you're going to see the original version of the film, which I suppose that you are, this isn't really going to affect anything. But I saw the movie dubbed in Spanish, and the singing voice of the person that dubbed Timothée Chalamet wasn't my favorite. So although this probably doesn't affect you, I also wanted to mention it. Well, so that was my review. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. And also remember that I also upload my videos in Spanish if you prefer to watch it that way. So yes, thank you very much, thanks for watching till the end, and see you next time!